Yo, what's going on, guys? This is the 4th Gen Gamer here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about the Pokemon Presents that is coming up this Monday. It's coming up really quickly for Pokemon Day, and if you haven't seen Pokemon Presents in the past, well, you probably are living under a rock, but I don't blame you. It's all good. They are usually packed with some pretty big news. Last year, on February 27th, we got a lot of news. We got the Daybreak update for Legends Arceus, and of course, the massive news of Pokemon Scarlet Violet. So I want to share with you guys my top 5 hopes for what I would love to see. Some of my hopes are a little realistic, some are maybe a little bit more far-fetched, but one can hope, right? But before we get started, just want to give a quick thank you to our sponsor of this video, G Fuel. Use code 4GG to get up to 30% off your order. I personally recommend this new flavor that I got, Miami Nights. It is strawberry pina colada. It's very yummy, very refreshing, about the same amount of caffeine as a big cup of coffee. Go and get yourself G Fuel. Link is down below. Thank you so much to G Fuel for helping support my content and keep me going full time. So let's go ahead and get things started with number 5. I would love a new paid spin-off game. I'm not talking microtransactions. I'm not talking free to buy and then you get a bunch of upgrades. I'm talking a full-fledged new spin-off game. It's crazy because the last time we got a full-fledged spin-off game in that sense was new Pokemon Snap. And you know, that game is almost 2 years old at this point. It came out in 2021. Pokemon Snap, new Pokemon Snap is getting old. I mean, you know, it's still recent, but for it to be the latest spin-off game is kind of crazy. I would love to see just anything new that is a full-on single-player experience, whether that is a new mystery dungeon or whatever that may be. I'll go into more specifics about that for one of my other hopes, but just some new experience. This is my most vague hope. I would just love to see some love for the side series of Pokemon games, even if it is a battle simulator like a Pokemon Stadium would just be delightful. Number 4, this is an obvious one. I think this is just a gimme for Nintendo, for Pokemon. Just print some money by giving us the Game Boy Advance games. Also, Gen 1 through 2 would be nice. Game Boy Advance specifically, though, I really want because we never had that officially on the 3DS. If you hack your 3DS, you can install Gen 3 Virtual Console games, but obviously that's very unofficial. It was not supported by Pokemon Home, Pokemon Bank, and we got Gen 1 and 2. I think those are probably more likely for us to get for part of the Nintendo Switch Online series now that they have Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. But man, I would love to play Pokemon Emerald on my Nintendo Switch. And not only that, but on the Nintendo Switch OLED. I feel like the colors would just look great. Like seeing the deep blacks and the really bright whites that the OLED panel gives, I would adore to see the Game Boy Advance games come to Switch, bring it to NSO, and I would be one happy camper. Number 3, my most unrealistic, the biggest reach of a hope that I have is to get a new Pokemon Ranger game. You know, okay, I listen, all right? One can dream, but hear me out. The Joy-Con kind of looks like the Ranger stylus. The Ranger styler that they use in game. Maybe motion controls would be garbage using this like a Ranger would, going in circles. But I mean, it might work. You don't know until you try. Clearly, they've given up on the Pokemon Ranger franchise, at least for a long time. It was very good on the Nintendo DS. It could have been really good on the 3DS. You know, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for them to bring it back. But man, I would love it. I love Pokemon Ranger. Probably one of the more underappreciated things in Pokemon is just a good Pokemon Ranger game. I have so much fun with them. Just let's use the Joy-Con because, you know, why not? Just, you know, let's do it. Let's make it happen. I'd buy it. Number 2 for my hopes. This, I think, is pretty realistic. There was a leak about a potential mystery dungeon game coming out. Whether that's new or not, I don't believe that is specifically clear, but I would love a mystery dungeon Explorers of Sky. Obviously, this and Pokemon Ranger also fall under my number 5 hope, which was just a new spin-off game. So that kind of, knocks 2 birds out with 1 stone. But man, I would love to see a new Mystery Dungeon experience. But I will put on this hope, specifically Explorers of Sky DX. Would adore a new experience too. But dude, I got to play Explorers of Sky for the first time last year. Took me a long time to get there. But what a special game. Mystery Dungeon is just a fantastic series. They're all great. All of them are great. Well, maybe not the WiiWare one that was only released in Japan. But other than that, they're all great. They really are. They all have their own special place. And if we could give a whole new generation of kids, a whole new generation of gamers, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky experience, well, that would just be great. That would be so great. I would love to play it again. I would love to see it brought to life with some new visuals. Even though the sprite aesthetic was great, I would love to go through that again. I also just recently deleted my save file on accident when I was doing a speedrun. So I have multiple reasons for wanting this, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. And last but not least, I'm sure that we will get some form of Scarlet Violet DLC. I feel like that makes sense, right? But Kalos DLC. Little bit of a pie in the sky hope here, but happy 10 years, Pokemon X and Y. That's right. Pokemon X and Y came out in 2013, believe it or not. Check Bulbapedia, October 12th, I believe. October 10th, somewhere around there. 2013. It is turning 10 years old. X and Y is not new anymore. It's quite old. It is going to be a decade old. That's crazy. That is crazy. X and Y is about as old as Ruby and Sapphire were when Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire were released. So it's not crazy to think that we could get something Kalos related. The big conspiracy hypothesis is that with Pokemon Scarlet Violet being based in Spain, that does border France. Or, in the Pokemon universe, Kalos. So there's a lot of cool theories. The upper right portion of the map of the Paldea region is very cloudy. It's very ambiguous, as to why we cannot go further when you get to that edge. A lot of the map is just water. You can't go because there's water. But in the upper right, the northeastern portion, it's very okay, there's a big mountain and the map has a dotted line. So what the hell does that mean? There's also a really cool theory. I mean, this gets a little bit of a stretch here, but I think it's cool. There's a trainer in the northeastern portion of Paldea. They're a dragon tamer. They have a Goodra, a Dragalge, and a Noivern. Those are all Gen 6 legendaries. Very specific. So, I mean, there's a lot of signs pointing to it. Who knows if it'll actually happen, but I would love that. I'm a big fan of Kalos. Kalos is great. We deserve Pokemon Z. Kalos deserves Pokemon Z. And I would love to see some Kalos love for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Will we get it? Probably not. But one can hope. Let me know what you guys want for the Pokemon Presents. Give me your realistic and unrealistic hopes. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys in a few days on Twitch for my live reaction of the Pokemon Presents. Bye!